We're live.
Okay, hey, welcome everyone. We're live at the Meridian Farmers Market. Tonight I am here to share with you the big why of shopping local. Because it's very near and dear to my heart that I personally, for my family, shop local as often as I can. Not only to support local farmers, but to have the highest quality food I can have for myself and for my family. My name is Helena Miller, and so I am a clinical nutritionist. I specialize in what's called nutrition response testing, which is a special form of muscle testing. And it's a unique way to tap into the body and identify what the body is missing nutritionally and what organs are being affected. And therefore, I can build a specific nutrition program just for you. And so we'll talk more about that later. A little of my background, I got into this work out of necessity. I was a respiratory therapist for 20 years. I worked at McLaren, Greater Lansing, for 20 years. And it was a great position. I loved it for the first 10 years. After that, I kind of woke up, I guess I could say. I woke up to the fact that the patients I was taking care of really were not getting any better. In fact, they were progressively getting worse. So, for instance, they would come in with lung problems, breathing problems, with the asthma, COPD, it didn't matter. And they would have a certain, sorry out there in live land, it's super windy, as you can tell by my wonderful hair. So it's going to be a little bit fast. But, patients would come in and they have like a quart-sized Ziploc bag full of pharmaceuticals and lung problems. And then a year or so later, they have heart problems. And their Ziploc bag, it gets bigger. And then they have blood sugar problems. And now they're on blood sugar medication. And then all of a sudden, next thing you know, their kidneys aren't working very well. So now they're on kidney medication or diuretics, and it snowballs, right? And so they have this big Ziploc gallon-sized bag full of pharmaceuticals. And that's quite literally how most patients bring their medications into a hospital. And over time, I realized the system was very broken when it came to chronic health issues. And so, if you are smucked out on Saginaw, and unfortunately a lot of people do get smucked on Saginaw, you're going to want to go to the hospital, and they're very good at putting you back together. But when it comes to chronic illness, I'm sad to say they miss the mark every single time without exception. And I can say that very strongly in my conviction because I see it daily in clinical practice. And so a lot of why people have chronic illness is a multitude of factors, but food is absolutely one of those factors that people have to realize. Our food industry in this country, it gets an F. It literally gets an F. If it were graded, it would have an F. And that's because our country, our EPA, allows so many chemicals, very toxic chemicals, endocrine disrupting chemicals into our food supply that other countries do not allow. So if they know it's toxic and they do not allow their people to consume those things, then why is it okay for us as Americans to consume that, right? It has to do with money, and it has to do with greed, and it has to do with, I think there's a certain faction of this world in our country that wants us fat, sick, and nearly dead. Have you guys ever seen that movie? Okay. And if you look at across society, that's exactly what you see, right? People are suffering. They don't know about food. They don't know about their health. They have not a clue where to start. And that's what our office specializes in, is helping people to just get started and understand how to eat, how to put better quality food in the tank. Because you, me, we're all Mercedes-Benz, whether we realize it or not, okay? I had a son-in-law years ago he was young. He was only 18, 19 years old at the time. He got a tax return, and he bought himself a used Mercedes-Benz. And it actually ran. I think he paid $1,000 or less for it, but it actually ran. And so what he didn't realize was that you have to put premium gas in that kind of car. So the first time he had to fill it up, he put 87 octane in. And needless to say, it didn't last much longer after that. Okay? So, you get the point. not.
As it said.
Yeah. We aren't really going to keel over at one McDonald's cheeseburger fries, though, right? It's going to be cumulative, just like a smoker doesn't die the first time they have a smokes, right? Okay? So, that's important to know. We have to treat our body like a Mercedes-Benz if we want our health. We are quite literally in a war for our health. We really are. From the time babies are born, they are customers of the pharmaceutical industry, okay? From day one, they get injections. They get a vitamin K shot, and they get a hepatitis B shot, okay? And they only do the hepatitis B shot because they can. It's not because it's indicated, and it was only studied for 4 or 5 days, okay? So we start children on this path of chronic illness. And I'm not saying it's just because of the hepatitis B shot. There's multiple factors, right? If you look at the cereal aisle, you can imagine, right? A lot of kids just eat cereal for breakfast. If you look at the school lunches, you'll understand that it's all junk. Hospital food is absolute junk. You're absolutely right. And so another one of the frustrating reasons why I had to get out of that system, because I was taking care of diabetic patients and they would bring them their diabetic diet, which is full of sugar. You know, oatmeal, that's just sugar. You know, you got an orange, that's just sugar. You got coffee with creamer, that's just sugar. Coffee spikes your blood sugar. And so, but that wasn't the thing. They didn't, you know, they knew they could manage with their patients. It wasn't about really the proper diet for them to use the least amount of medications. So that's the first thing. Treat your body like a Mercedes-Benz. So how do we do that? We have to eat real food. We have to eat mostly meat and eggs and healthy fat. And then we throw in some good quality vegetables, right? Where do we get good quality vegetables? We get them seasonally at our farmers markets, right? If we can buy enough that we can freeze it and last us all winter, that's even better. Or can it? Some people would rather can it and last us all winter. That's even better, right? I have gone to the idea that I'm going to eat with the seasons, like our ancestors did. Primarily with the seasons, like our ancestors did. So I'm going to get the bulk of my vegetables during the season. That's when I like them the most anyway. They're the best then, right? I mean, who doesn't know that, right? But the reality is, if we're always relying on the grocery stores, organic produce that's starting to say, I don't necessarily trust it. Because the FDA gives it that label, and there are a lot of loopholes, right? And, yeah, for sure. I still think it's better than your conventional stuff. And I typically follow the environmental working groups, 30 dozen and 15, okay? Because they study this stuff. And so that's what we typically follow in our office. So you can go on the environmental working groups site, ewg.org, and you can look at quality of food. You can find your 30 dozen and 15. You can find the quality of your public water system. Yeah.
What's that website?
I think it's ewg.org. It's either .org or .com, but I think it's .org.
I just was making sure they got right there.
So, I am a master practitioner of nutritional science. Simply put, a clinical nutritionist. I have clinical skills that allow me to provide the exact right nutrition.
So one of the things I get regularly are blueberries.
Yeah.
And I'll get like organic blueberries, like Whole Foods or Kroger, wherever they have this meal. And I always get organic. So if I buy from one of the farmers markets, even if it isn't organic, are they going to be better?
Yes, I would say, but here's the beauty of shopping at a farmer's market. You get to talk to the farmer.
Yeah.
That's the beauty of it.
When you're growing process.
Right. How do you ask them questions? They'll tell you. I do it all the time. How are you growing? Are you I think most farmers are really willing to just give you that information, and then you can make your decision. And you can buy organic, like I say, in the store, but is it really? I still wash all of my store-bought produce because I don't know. I wash it in vinegar and water. I just soak it, make sure, scrub it, whatever I got to do.
Zach, that's another question. As far as washing, one of the other things I've been using lately are just regular mushrooms, like white mushrooms, and I used the veggie wash that I use on it, spray them down and everything, and let them soak, and then stop, let them dry out, and they're always, they don't look as good as they did before I washed, but it's still a good idea for something like that to wash.
Yes. Yeah, so the question was about organic mushrooms, washing them is a good idea to wash them. Because they don't look as pretty after you wash them as they do before you wash them. It's true. But, for me, I usually would chop them all up anyway and put them with something. So, to me, I don't know. I mean, if you're going to put them on a platter or something fancy, I guess.
I just part of what I throw in my smoothie.
Yeah, got it. Okay. So, I got my mic back. So where was I? Okay, so the things you need to know about the produce in the store, just anything in the store. When I shop a supermarket, I stay as much as I can out of the middle aisles, okay? And that is because I do not want seed oils. I do not want preservatives. I do not want all the things. And even in a health food store, you're going to find junk food, okay? Even in a health food store. So good quality food. Now, if you eat in a way that you're having enough protein, and I find clinically that patients don't eat enough protein. And myself, I wasn't eating enough protein, okay? So if you eat enough protein, particularly red meat, you're going to be very, very satisfied. Meaning you're not going to need to snack. You're going to save a lot of money on that processed snacky stuff. You're not going to need it because it has a high satiety point, meaning it's very satisfying because it's full of minerals and fat-soluble nutrients, okay? On Saturdays here, there's a lot of meat, okay? There's a lot of grass-fed and properly grown meat, including fish from the Great Lakes. I don't know if you've ever been here on a Saturday, but we do have fish from the Great Lakes. So preservatives, chemicals. Did you know they put food dye in pickles? Did you know that? They put food dye in pickles because apparently we're bougie and we need our pickles to be greener or something. I'm not really sure, but if you look at especially if it's not organic. If it's organic, you're typically not going to find it. But if it's just a regular jar of pickles, you will find food dyes in there, okay? Yep, you must read your labels. Don't rely on the front of the packaging because that is deceiving. They know, meaning the food industry, they know what we want to read. They know what makes us feel warm and fuzzy, okay? Whole grain, fat-free, sugar-free. By the way, those are just a chemical crap storm. Yeah, all natural, right? Non-GMO, I don't know. I mean, maybe it is, but GMOs are a problem. We don't even know how big of a problem GMO foods are yet, and we've been consuming them for a few decades now, And so I know I find problems with that in practice, but we just don't know the extent of it because it's like a big experiment. Well, we keep trying. A for effort to the man who is so non-GMO is a label. Do I 100% trust it? No. But that's the guy, right? So they have to get something. Two big things that are environment are that you must avoid, and that is glyphosate. Glyphosate is found in Roundup, and it's literally on everything. Okay, they spray it on the soy, they spray it on all the grains to desiccate it. It's called glyphosate. It's found in Roundup. It is carcinogenic. It causes cancer, and it also absolutely destroys pollen.
GMO fruit,
Pretty
to my
much.
knowledge.
Yeah.
Pretty much, yeah. Because they genetically modified those foods to withstand the Roundup,
Right,
right?
right. That's
So
what I
it's
understand.
all, yeah, exactly. So that's for sure. So that's the first thing. Glyphosate destroys your collagen. You have to. Your collagen is your most abundant protein in your body. It's your structure. It's your scaffolding. Right? It's your bones, your skin, your hair and nails, your connective tissue. It's your joints. It's all of it. Right? And if we're deficient in collagen, and I will tell you we all are, because of glyphosate for sure. Plus we make less as we get older, and we're going to just start breaking down. Okay? Our bones are going to get weaker and quicker. Good job, Gabby. Rocking it. Okay, we're gonna get through this after all. So glyphosate, that's the number one thing. And if you really want some information about the best quality collagen out there, see me. Make sure you grab my card. You can call me after the fact, and we can talk about that later. The next thing is atrazine. Atrazine is another chemical that's used on our food in commercial farms. Atrazine changes frogs' sex, meaning it can change the sex from male to female. And those once male frogs can even have eggs, which is crazy to me, right? And so I don't know if you know this, but this is a big, big deal for our young boys in this country. Our young boys and men, by no matter, in other words, men and boys, we have low testosterone problems. Atrazine. Yeah. So it can have the same effect on men because it's high in plant estrogen. So it's an estrogen mimicker, so it can mess with our estrogen. It can bind to our estrogen receptor sites and mess with our natural estrogen. Absolutely. Yeah. Because you don't want men or boys to be high in estrogen, right? And so soy is a big deal. But soy is in everything. All the children's foods are full of soy, right? Right? All the fake meats are full of soy. Okay, so just like I can't believe it's not butter because it's not butter, all the fake meats are not meat. They're not good for you. They're full of preservatives and plant chemicals. A lot of the plants they use in there are high in oxalate, and our bodies can only process so much oxalate at a time. Like the liver has to process that, and it's only capable of so much. Okay, so that's important to know too. So you've got the preservatives, you've got the chemicals, you've got the food dyes, you've got the glyphosate, you've got the atrazine. Is that enough, do you think? Right, fat, sick, and nearly dead. Now that is the most important reason why we need to support our local farmers. Because again, you can come here or any farmers market. We were blessed to have a lot of them. I don't know if you know this, but we've got the Allen Street Market, we have the Holt Market, DeWitt has a market. I don't know what day that is. The south side of Lansing used to have a market. I'm not sure if they still are. I know they.
There's one on the corner of Jolly and MLK.
Jolly and MLK. I did hear that. Thursday afternoons. Perfect. Yeah, so we're blessed, I think, because nearly every day of the week we have somewhere we can go to get fresh produce and meat. Okay. So I hate to say it, but if you can, especially in the summer months, stay out of your grocery stores if you can. I minimally go in the grocery store during the summer months because I just don't want to if I don't have to all of a sudden. So there's that. Does anybody have any questions about what we just went over? No? Okay. So, yeah. Yeah. I can think they consider that more hybridization. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But here's the thing, because of that, manipulating the seeds, our fruit is not supposed to primarily be that sweet.
That's right.
Our apples used to be all sour. There was no pink ladies. There were no Honey Crisp, right? They used to be all sour. Our ancestors would just make alcohol out of them. That's really what they did. Bananas used to be favorable for us, just the monkeys, right? Not us, right? Everything through that process of manipulating seeds has made our fruit much more sweet. So it's higher in fructose, which unfortunately makes it a little worse for us because it's still sugar. And when it all boils down to it, sugar is really the enemy, right? Sugar, and then I would say wheat, and then seed oils. They're really my top three things that I try to avoid. Grains particularly, and then seed oils, because they're all inflammatory and they all deplete us of certain nutrients. They make our joints hurt. They give us brain fog. I've heard it all. And once I clean up a person's diet and they're eating like a Mercedes-Benz, like they should be, their joint pain goes away. Their brain fog goes away. They start feeling better. They can move better. They can sleep better. They have more energy during the day. And so until people get away from those things, and sometimes even fruit sugars, if they're eating a lot of sugar, eating a lot of fruit, they really don't know. They have no idea how that stuff makes them feel. And so that's always fun for me in the clinical practice to be able to experience that with my patients when they come in and we really start working on food. So,
it's 4:41.
Nice. Okay. So, let's see, what haven't I covered? One last thing I think we should cover is how does one really start making their health a priority? Okay. So it doesn't matter what your symptom may be, whether it be shortness of breath, chest pains, arthritic pains, maybe you've got lupus, or some other autoimmune disease. It doesn't really matter. Anytime we have a symptom, that's a sign of the body just is far too deficient. We're deficient in certain nutrients, and our organs, we have some organs that are not optimum. Because if you consider that our nutrients are the fuel for our organs, then it makes sense, right? Like if you're deficient in certain nutrients, then you can certainly assume safely that your organs are not going to really be functioning optimally for you. And then we get this vicious downward spiral of our symptoms coming more often and becoming more severe, don't we? And then we go to the doctor and they don't know. They run all the tests and they don't know. So they put you on a medication because they're going to just try it, right? And then you have these awful side effects. So you go back to the doctor and they try another set of medication. And then it's a downward spiral, right? I know that you know at least somebody, if it's not you, that's been through that, right? I know tons of people, but we all know somebody, if it's not ourselves, that's been through that. Okay, so the work I'm blessed to do in our office is the halt to that downward spiral. Okay, that's important. There is a halt. And what I get to do is not only get to teach people how to feed themselves like a Mercedes-Benz, but I also get to provide their body with the exact right nutrition that they've been missing, those nutrients that they're severely deficient in, so that their organs can work better. And if you think about it like a triangle, and you have your symptom at the top, and you have nutritional deficiencies over here, and you've got organ dysfunction over here, if me as the clinician identifies these deficiencies and starts feeding you those, then the organs are going to naturally start working better. And over time, then the symptoms are going to get better. Because remember, I'm going to take you back to like what geometry. If you alter one side of a triangle, you're going to alter the other two sides. That's just how it works, right? You're going to have a different triangle. I don't remember all the names, but I don't care to. Right? Isosceles, that's all I remember. I'm not going to go there. Okay? But you get the idea, right? So we're putting in the right exact nutrition, and then the organs start working better, and then the symptoms start getting better. Yes? They do, don't they? I like that you walked up here. Okay. And so your health and my health is like a big juicy onion. Okay. We have many layers. So the initial consult, just so you know, is 2 parts. And what it provides us is what your body is prioritizing in that outside layer of your health onion. Okay. And I build the program based on that stuff. I'm also looking for root causes, or what we call barriers to healing. because that's what they do. They stop the body from healing itself because you're designed to heal yourself, but you have barriers to healing because you live on toxic planet Earth, okay? And so the first initial consult really is about finding out how your nervous system is functioning, if it's regulating properly, and what specific deficiencies you have, organs are being affected, and then we build the program. And then I send you home with a food log, because every single patient of mine writes food down for me, because that's the first step in order to learn how to eat like you're a Mercedes Benz. You've got to write it down, you've got to confront it, and so that's the step one. And then you come back just as soon as possible for the second part, which is called report of findings. We're going to sit down and discuss everything I found clinically. Okay? There's no, I'm sorry, ma'am, I don't know what's wrong. Okay? There's always clinical findings, because we're all deficient and we all have organs that need help. Okay? So there's always clinical findings. The root causes are things like heavy metal toxicity, chemical toxicity, immune challenges such as bacteria, virus, fungi, and parasite. Okay? Food sensitivities. A lot of people are sensitive to food because they've been eating the standard American diet for so long, and they have a leaky gut. So now they're sensitive to their food. Okay, well, their food-like substances, I should say. Okay, and so we're looking for all those things, including scars. Okay, so scars are a big deal in our practice. We're always looking for scars that didn't heal properly, because we know that they can cause dysfunction in the body. And we use all of that data from your body to build a nutrition program just for you. Okay? And so we give you that report, and you just tell me, Helena, this is for me. Let's get started right away, and we'll get started that day. So that's what that looks like. And so because you're here and you're gracious enough to spend a sunny afternoon with me under a canopy, because I love sun. I don't know about you guys, but I absolutely love the sun. By the way, the sun is a nutrient. Please do not be scared of the sun. Get out in the morning sun and the evening sun when you're having most of the red light, which is very therapeutic for you. So do not be scared of the sun. Be wise. In the high noon sun, of course, you don't want to burn your skin, because that stinks. It's never fun. But if you get a little bit of sun every day, your body will build this melanin up, which then you're not going to be likely to burn. Okay, please do not be scared of the sun. That's a big lie that they've been pushing on us for decades, at least the majority of my life. Okay, sun is a nutrient. You have photoreceptors all over your body, especially your eyes. Okay, so if you're out in the morning sun, I take my even these glasses, because they block a little bit of the light. Okay, I want my eyes to see the sun. I just gaze around it, not necessarily right at it, but I gaze around it, and I get as much sunlight in the morning and in the evening as I can, because it's therapeutic. Okay. Getting in the morning sun charges your mitochondria, which is the powerhouse of your cell, and it also charges your melatonin so that you can use it at night for sleep. How about that? That's cool, right? Okay, so because you're here, I really encourage you to make sure you sign the sheet here on the clipboard so we have your information. Grab my card so that you can get hold of me, specifically if you have any questions about my programs, or if you want answers or some information about collagen, because we are in a war for collagen. Also, I am offering a special today for those who are watching for the initial consult that I just described, as well as those of you who are here that are not currently patients. My initial consult is normally $200 for those 2 visits, so I graciously offer you $75 tonight for that consult. Okay, we can find a spot on my schedule. Did you write up any spots or no? Okay, so Gabby's got it all together. You just give her a card, she'll swipe it for $75 and find you a spot on my schedule as soon as possible for that initial consult. Okay. All right, I'll take any last questions. I hopefully that was beneficial and helpful for you. And please do visit some booths. I don't know as I need anything, but I'm gonna walk through before I leave, because it's different on Wednesdays, I've noticed, than it is on Saturdays. So, okay, any last questions? Yes, sir. Yeah, so the morning sun and the evening sun are red light, mostly red light. The high noon sun is blue light, and that can be damaging to the skin if we're not prepared for it. Okay, if the more meat you eat and eggs you eat and high quality nutrition, the less likely you are to burn. But you want to gradually build up to that midday sun. You don't want to just obviously jump in because you will burn. There are certain things that you need. You need essential fatty acids. You need calcium to not really be so sensitive to burning in the sun. But most people are deficient, and so that makes them, more susceptible to burns. But there's a way you can do it, and you just be smart about it. It's high noon sun, and you get out, and you don't cover your skin up for 10-15 minutes, and just kind of gradually increase it as the summer goes on, and just get a nice tan on your skin. Okay. All right, but the morning and the evening sun is really, really therapeutic. Yes, ma'am.
So, one of my best friends.
Nice.
Yeah, that's possible. They're like, so I can
Yeah.
as far as the sun, I did do your own research. We gotta say no, but I don't thing here. So there's such a thing as sun gazing, and you do it this in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
It helps you train your body, it helps you with vision, all kinds of good things. And then if you wear sunglasses, it's the quickest way
Yeah, you have photoreceptors in your eyes. You need to I know that sunglasses are cute. I love them too, and I will wear them occasionally, but I try really hard not to, especially if I'm in the sun. I try to just let the sun hit, even with my eyes closed, because you can still get those receptors. You don't have to stare at the sun. High noon. Right. I mean, that's how we grew up. I mean, I grew up with sunglasses. That's what we do. Right. Exactly. So, yeah, there's that. There you go. Now you know, right? There's times when you need them, right? There's absolutely times when you need them, but for the most part, if you don't have to have them, please just don't wear them. Just let your face and your